Hello everyone, it's time for chapter 28 and the font has changed, so we are back to, what's his name again? I've forgotten his name. It'll come back to me as I'm reading. The boy from the secret house in the woods looked at us with huge eyes, pale and terrified. The desk that I had tipped over lay on its side between us. I'm sorry. I was greatly in need of somewhere to shelter, he said. The fire. He started breathing quickly and blinking hard, as if just saying fire had a bad effect on him. I stood next to Roxy, looking down at this filthy, soot-streaked creature, soaking wet and shivering. He knelt next to the overturned desk, one arm clutching the other, staring up at us, eyes flicking left and right, blinking repeatedly, his mouth moving with half-formed words, and a sheen of snot covering his upper lip. I don't think I'd ever seen a figure so pitiable. Roxy spoke first. "It's okay. We're not going to hurt you." The words hung in the air as he continued to stare. From time to time, tiny moans escaped his lips. "Me mum, me mum, me mum," he started again, panting between every syllable. Roxy got down on her hunkers to be level with him, and I followed suit. She reached out and touched him gently on the shoulder, lowering her head to look at his face. "Alva," she said, and he gave a little gasp and a nod. My head spun round to look at Roxy. "Is that your name? Alva?" He nodded again. "Me? My old name. Alva. I usually, Alfie. Alfie is good." "Come on, Alfie. Come and sit down." Roxy spoke with such gentleness and such calm, never taking her eyes off his, watching his every movement. Slowly he rose to his feet, still clutching one arm against his chest. He stumbled over to the vinyl-covered sofa and lowered himself onto it. Roxy sat next to him and turned her body to look at him while I straightened the desk and sat on that. "Can I see your arm?" Roxy asked as she carefully lifted his hand out of the way. "Does it hurt?" It looked like it was agony. His right sleeve was ripped, revealing a burnt forearm. Deep red welts from the elbow to the wrist, with some skin peeling away. Roxy and I both sucked air through our teeth. "You need a doctor, mate," I said. I hadn't said it harshly, but it was the first thing I'd said to him, and it was the wrong thing. He glared at me. No, definitely not. Under no circumstances." I got what he said. It was emphatic enough. But those words, "under no circumstances," it struck me as an unusual thing for a kid to say. He looked about our age. "But Alfie," said Roxy, using his name. Clever, I thought. "It's really badly burnt. It could get, I don't know, infected or something." "See? You do not really know, do you?" There was an edge to his voice, but he wasn't really aggressive, just sure of himself. "No doctor." He sank a bit lower into the sofa, and the weary look returned to his face. "Just leave me be, yes? I will be fine. No word to anyone. I will be fine." No, he wouldn't. It was obvious that this was the "I will be fine" of someone who would be anything but. "What happened, Alfie? In the fire?" I thought it would be a good idea to get him talking, but a firm shake of the head from Roxy put me right on that. Listen to me, Alfie, she said. The first thing you need to do is to get clean and warm. You're shivering. We'll clean this wound for a start, then we can dress it. It may be okay. She was looking at it carefully, touching the edges with the tips of her fingers. Does it hurt there? She asked once, and he winced in reply. She turned to me. Is your dad in, Aidan? She asked. Aidan. No, said Alfie. His ash-streaked face filled with fear, and his eyes darted to the door as he made a move to get up. It's okay, Alfie. Sit down. You can trust us. We won't tell anyone you're here if you don't want us to. She turned to me. You're going to have to sneak in somehow. Stand next to Aidan, Alfie. So authoritative was Roxy's manner that he stood up next to me on her command. Have you any clothes that are too small for you, Aidan? You know, stuff you've grown out of? No, we gave them all away before the move. What about your sister? Libby was about the same height as this weird, filthy boy standing between us. I'll see what I can find. It might be pink, mind. If Alfie minded, his face didn't show it. His face hardly showed anything, really. He settled back into the sofa next to Roxy and started trembling again, lips flapping. This was going to be tough. Roxy got to her feet and flicked her eyes to the door. I followed her out. Once outside, we picked our way through the mud for a few metres. Classic signs, said Roxy. PTSD. What? Post-traumatic stress disorder. He's seen his house burn down, maybe seen his mum die in the fire. It's a lot to process, hence the, odd behaviour. Well, yeah, he needs help, but he needs to trust us first. He'll run off given half a chance. And you know all this how? I said. It sounded snarky, but I was properly impressed. She shrugged. I read a lot. Now you go and get some clean clothes. Bring them round the front and I'll meet you at the door. My mum's in her den working. She'll have her headphones on probably. I hope so. I hadn't forgotten her fierce mum from last night. Roxy gave me a withering look. She's fine, my mum. She's just scary? Angry. Angry and scary. Whatever. You'll have to help him get clean, in and out of the bath and stuff, dry him. Me? I meant to say it normally, but it came out as a squeak. The withering look returned. Yes, you. What with you being a boy, I don't think you'd be keen on staying naked in front of me. I decided then and there, if ever I was in a crisis, I'd want 11-year-old Roxy Minto in charge, which, considering what was to come, was a wise decision. And then it's chapter 29. For tomorrow. Bye-bye.